So county commissioner, basically their duties are the budget, right? So we're the good and the bad person. We're good for our taxpayers, because you got a great conservative board. But a lot of times, the 700 plus employees of the county, you know, we want to provide the best services. So they're looking to expand what they can do for us, and we got to kind of balance that. My area is the center part of the county. So I got the 2/3 northern part of Genoa. I have 2 precincts over in Brighton Township, and then the southeast corner of Osceola. My background, I was a Navy veteran. I own a small business. I worked for the Department of Defense up until last year, and then I have probably about 20 years in automotive when I come out of the Navy. So I worked in as a supply chain director, setting up factories around the world, working contracts as far as in purchasing, hiring and firing. So it gives me a pretty good background, and if anybody was on the web pages and stuff, you can kind of see that was my background. So I think it does a pretty good job for the folks here in Livingston County, and what I can do. One of the things that we've been working on in the county commission is I always say we, because I'm one of the few that has the liberty of running around and hitting all the departments really quick, and I wanted to find out how we can stay out of everybody's way. So there's over 30 departments. I thought there was only 25, but my goal was to hit everybody and visit them by the end of February, and just kind of seeing what their budgets were and understanding how, when they develop their budget, how it floats up to what we're going to be looking at. So when we came on board, immediately after the Christmas holiday, all these ARPA funds are there, and people might have questions on that. Talking with 911, Keisha Williams over there is doing a great job, and she has some ideas for ARPA funds and how to expand our services here. Christy, the animal shelter, so there's some stuff going on there with the animal shelter.
Are you coming for this?
Congresswoman Slotkin, Keith's here on her behalf, did a great job in pulling some money in for our EMS. We worked with Dave Foposh to understand his budget, where he wants to go, where we need to expand in the county, and where we need our services. So, the board's looking at a lot of different things on as far as where the money that's coming in and how we're going to be responsible on putting that money out. I also worked with the sheriff's department. I'd like to read something that the sheriff sent me. And most of the commission here, and I don't know if everybody hears and sees what's going on in the county on those messages he sends out, but this was for, he says he just wants to brag a little bit, and this is pretty cool from the sheriff. So obviously we had a major tragic event over at Michigan State, and so just so you know what's going on here in Livingston County, what we can do. Maybe blow it up a little bit. My eyes are getting a little bad here. So he says, as you probably know, we sent all available resources over to Michigan State. Upon debriefing our personnel after the incident, they found a couple of different things that happened. And this is in regards to us sending folks over to Michigan State. Deputy McNamara was on duty and working out at a gym in East Lansing when he received the alert from the active shooter. Again, he's over in East Lansing, he's working out. So he ran over in his street clothes, and the on-site people who were handling the incident gave him a spare gun and his flak jacket. He was able to help, and after he showed his ID, of course. See it being videotaped. So Deputy McNamara, he was assigned to one of the RTFs, that's a rescue task force, responding to shots fired and evacuating students. Some more good stuff that we're doing. One of the when I was in the Navy, I had to do some odd things, and this one hit home too. One of the other good things that we saw is, I think it was yesterday, they had a press conference, and the police department took care of one of the cold cases, and I don't know if this affects anybody, but the detectives and in the private DNA lab were able to close out Christina Castellone. Her body was found back in 1983, so the Sheriff's Department is doing a great job. They're still working some of these cold cases. So, we're pretty blessed as county commissioners to work on a lot of great things, and we get a lot of wonderful information. So, at the urging of Dave Domas, he wanted the commissioners to reach out to the chambers and plug ourselves in. So I want to plug myself into Brighton and be a part of it, help with questions, be that liaison for all of you to help get the information out, to our constituents. So I think with that kind of gives you an overview of kind of what my thoughts are. My hand it over to either you or Marty?
And I'm gonna hand it over to Marty.
Well,
We're gonna run out of chairs
for
here.
those that have not met, I'm Marty Smith. I represent Brighton and the rest of Brighton Township. Sorry, I hit that on your ring.
Oh, no, you're perfectly fine. I'm glad to know who's in this final.
This is my kind of second term on the board. I was appointed to when Kate Lawrence retired, and so you guys got stuck with me, and then unfortunately voted for me. So, but I do enjoy it. My background is finance. I'm 39 years a commercial banker, and so I'm gonna kind of dovetail off what Roger just said. I don't think people understand the size of our government, just in our county. Our asset size in any given month could be as high as 250 million. About 100 to 120 of that is capital assets. It's buildings, it's air conditioners, it's trucks, it's Let's buses, it's facilities. And then the rest of that is cash and budgets that come and go as the tax season comes and goes. Our main focus, and historically, it's a credit to all our predecessors, including Dave's prior time on the board, has been a really judicious allocation of the tax dollars. So today, for example, our budget is roughly $56 million for fiscal '23. We expect to spend less than that. And historically, we have spent less than that, to the point where our general fund balance, think of that as our county savings account, is about $38 million. So people say, great, cut my taxes, give me a rebate, do something. Except one issue that affects all of government: pensions. So we have pension liability. We have also done a very nice job, especially the last 10 years, of whittling down that pension liability to the tune of $32 million. Now we're owed, and that's about what's still owed, because we had a $60-some million deficit. Now it's cut in half. We want to continue to do that. I'm sure we're going to be allocating some additional general funds to put extra money towards that. We budget every year extra money to put towards that. But we have a commitment we've made to our employees. Those that are in a pension program, we have to make sure that's funded. So I hear a lot of people, banging on my phone about, hey, it's time to reduce the taxes. Well, that's great. My comment is, as soon as I can cover that pension liability, I'm glad to reduce the taxes. And we're getting close. We really are. We've gone, we're up to 84% funded, I think, at this point. So it's really, we'll get a new actuarial study out every May, I think, and they'll tell us where we are. But with the stock market, I'm not sure we're gonna make any progress. We'll probably still be in the 80s, but with the market gyrating, yes, ma'am.
Just to speak to how good that is, there is a city not too far from here where their deficit is $500 million right now on their pensions.
I can also tell you that the state pension liability, Lana, is how many hundreds?
At this point,
of millions?
honestly, I don't know because of our investment shifts.
Yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number.
It's, and it depends on who you're talking about, whether we're talking state police or we're talking
Right.
educators.
Yeah, that brings up another point. So I'm really pleased with the financial position. As speaking from a finance banker background, our county is in superb financial condition. The fact that we could write a check tomorrow and wipe out the pension liability is awesome. It really is. But let's get there through keeping that rainy day fund surplus available for emergencies, which, God willing, we won't need. But let's build that up, knock down that pension liability. That's a big deal to me, because I feel we owe it to all our employees that are in that program. We've made a commitment to fulfill that commitment. I think the other thing worthwhile is that I mentioned there's $120 million in physical assets. It's like a house, it's the roof. Oh, we got a water leak. Oh, we got whatever. This is broken, that's broken. 2 buses went down. No matter what it is, it's expensive to keep up that kind of physical plant. I think a couple of you know more than I do how much that can weigh on you. So it's a big deal. I think our predecessors have done a wonderful job of putting us in great financial position. We have a lot going on, just so you know, the allocation of ARPA money, partially allocated, we have a large, the rest, balance of it, we put in a contingency fund, we're gonna have some meetings on that coming up. The opioid, settlement, it's gonna start coming in, we've, dedicated an account to reserve those funds, they will not be mixed with any other any other fund in the county, separate funding, and, you know, maybe we can talk about that in a minute. But other than that, I'm kind of anxious to hear your questions, quite frankly, because, and by the way, roads, don't ask me about roads. That's road commission, God love you, but I know nothing about the roads. Yes, ma'am.
What is the balance of ARPA dollars right now?
We were allocated 37.2 million, 37,272,000. So, of that, we have, approved, the broadband program. The allocation of that is a little over 12 million. And, we've done tentative allocations to, DPW and the Drain Commission, and the Sheriff's Department. We had to put some money to the courts to complete